Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video on this channel. I hope you're all keeping well during lockdown. This is just one today where I'll be doing the result of the October goal of the month, which you've been voting for on Twitter. Plus, as I've now reached over 100 subscribers, I'll be answering some of your Q&A questions, which I've also been doing on Twitter. As usual, we're starting with the result of goal of the month, and in fourth place for October, you have gone for this. It's good, that number 11. Nice run there by the Eccleshill player and a good finish into the corner there away at Knaresborough. Now, it wasn't the best game that day, but Eccleshill getting a job done, and that number 11 caused Knaresborough all sorts of problems that afternoon. And in third place, you have gone for this.
Oh, he's trying to lob him. Oh, what a goal! What a goal!
North Allen absolutely hammered that night against Newton Aycliffe, but all the same, it was a great lob over the keeper, and personally, that's what I would have gone for goal of the month. But as it is, it's your decision. I just picked the nominees. You decide the overall winner, and ultimately, you only thought that was third best. And in second place is this. Goal scored there by Sunderland RCA against Northallerton. I've got to agree with you on that. That would have been my second place as well. Obviously, my first place would have been the one that finished third. But in first place, which in my personal opinion was only was probably the fourth best goal of the month, to be honest. But obviously you think otherwise, and you've gone for this.
Tight angle that. And that definitely is game over.
All the same, he rounded the keeper pretty well. You know, he got it in from the angle. Heat and Stand fans obviously very, very vocal on Twitter and on social media, and have managed to get that goal to be the October goal of the month and into the overall end of season competition. Now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to be doing your Q&A questions on Twitter. First one in is from Callum on Twitter, who asks what my favourite type of paint is. Well, Callum, I don't know, I'd probably say red. You know, it's my favourite colour, so red paint, up the red paint. Next one in is also from Callum, who asks, will Blizzard Beach win the Durham Challenge Cup this year? Callum, stop asking ridiculous questions. Of course Blizzard Beach are going to win the Durham Challenge Cup this year. Scott asks, what's the best hospitality I've ever had at an away game, and why is it at his house? Well, Scott, because you have original recipe iron brew. That's it. Next up is from Andy Walsh, who asks, best food is at which ground? From personal experience, my best bit of food I'd say I've had at a football match was a steak and haggis pie, which I had at Stenhouse Muir against the New Saints in the Tunnocks Caramel Wafer Cup last year. That was absolutely unbelievable. Bit of grub that. So Stenhouse Muir. But also I like the pies at Kidderminster. You know, the burgers at Carlisle City are pretty good. Got a good burger at FC United of Manchester once, a good burger at Telford, good pies at Motherwell, so it's quite a few, but I think Stenhouse Muir for me. So next in is from Ollie, a Chester fan, who asks my best ever Gateshead away day and my top 3 non-league grounds. I'll start with a Gateshead away day. For me, the best away day I did was away to Leyton Orient in the FA Trophy in the 2017-18 season. It was a real good overall day, but In fact, we were 3-0 down with 22 minutes left, and we got it back to 3-3. The equaliser coming in the 90th minute. I was running all over the place in the stand. The guy who was top off basically decided to. He was almost wanted me to belly bounce him. It was absolutely mental. Then I had a few drinks on the way back up and stuff like that. What a day. Top 3 non-league grounds. I really like Whitby Town, the Turnbull ground. I always enjoy a trip there. I know it's not what you want to hear as a Chester fan, but I quite like the racecourse ground at Wrexham. That's always a pretty good one. And as we've seen a few times on the channel, quite like Pickering Town, Mill Lane. But I think probably also I think third would probably put and Mosley, quite like that one. Peter Naylor asks, as a student, how can you afford to travel everywhere you do? Well, Peter, I'm not actually a student at the minute. Obviously, I was a student, and I did spend a lot of money, to be fair. But at the minute, I'm working. So I'll just basically pay for it through that, so it's not too bad. So the camping ground has asked me if Gateshead could sign one player from Darlington, Spennymoor, Blythe, and South Shields. Who would it be and why? For Darlington, I'm gonna go with Dan Maguire. Obviously, we tried to sign him in the summer, but he chose Darlington. We're desperate for a bit more at top at the minute, and I think he'd maybe suit our system pretty well. For Blythe, I will go with getting Liam Agnew back. I thought he did pretty well for us last year, and I'd certainly take him back in the team this year. Spennymoor, again, going back to the issues we have up front, I would go with Glenn Taylor. I know he's maybe getting on a bit now to maybe be playing in a professional team, but he's still banging in the goals for them. As for Shields, I will go for Shields. I'll go for Phil Turnbull, Gateshead legend. Get him back in. So next in is from Luke Heed FC, who asks a couple of questions. The first one is, how long have I been a Gateshead fan for? And the answer to that is just over 9 years. My first game was in September 2011, where we drew 1-1 at Cambridge. It was a bit of a spontaneous trip, really. I was just, I was up visiting some family for the weekend in the northeast, and I look on teletext to see what was on. I was just like, oh, Gateshead are playing Cambridge tomorrow. Do you fancy going? I said that to my granddad. We went along. I absolutely loved it, and I've basically been hooked ever since. And next one I asked is, what's my best memory as a Gateshead fan? And without a doubt, it is the playoff semi-final against Grimsby, where we won 3-1 on the day. Obviously 4-2 on aggregate. What a day! I mean, that game had a bit of everything, really. I'll never ever forget that. Kathy asks, what's been my favourite ever train journey to an away game? I'd probably have to say Wrexham in March 2017. It was a really good day out on a train. I mean, most games I go on a train. But that one in particular, 2-0 win for the lads. I had a great day there, and it was obviously the result made it a pretty damn pleasant journey back. Caroline asks, favourite player of all time. Obviously, as a Gateshead fan, I know he's playing for Spennymoor now, but it's got to be James Curtis without a shadow of a doubt. Absolute legend. So Joe, who runs the Match Days channel, if you've not checked him out already, then definitely do so. He has asked, what is my favourite ground that I've been to? Obviously, I really like, as I mentioned earlier, I really like Whitby Town, the Turnbull ground. That's a really good one. I think in terms of overall stadia, the Bernabeu's got to be up there, as well as the Het Castile, the Sparta Rotterdam's ground. That's a really nice ground, but also, again, in Scotland, got a massive soft spot for Fir Park, Motherwell. But overall, I probably have to say Whitby. Next up is from Andy Wilkins, who asks which ground do I want to do in the south of England once it's safe to do so, regardless of restrictions and all that. I think Portsmouth's definitely up there. Quite like to go to Plymouth as well. Trying to think if there's any really around the London area. I think maybe Dorking Wanderers. I'd like to pay them a visit at some point for all the work they've done with the Let Fans In campaign. Another couple in from Luke Heed FC. The first one he asks is, will I be vlogging Gateshead matches? Absolutely, I'll be vlogging Gateshead matches. I want to give sort of every sort of team and ground a visit equal opportunities, and the Heed will be no different to that. And he also asks if I think we can get back into the National League one day. I think as long as we remain sort of professional in the National League North, and we can, I think maybe obviously we definitely need a bit more up top, because that's the obvious problem. It seems like we're creating so many chances, but we're not taking them. So I think, yeah, if we can get another strike win, then we can maybe compete this year. But I think maybe it is going to be a bit of a be patient and give it another couple of years, that sort of kind of process. I mean, it took Stockport long enough to get out of this league, and it's taken York a pretty long time as well. So it's a tough league. I think we just got to accept that. But I think eventually one day we will get back. Calamas, will Gateshead re-sign Amar Chopper? Hashtag GOAT. Course, just believe, Callum. The King Amar Chopra will be back one day. Finally, Emma's Ground Guide has asked me what's the best and worst ground I've ever visited. Obviously, I've mentioned the best one, which was Whitby, and the worst one, absolutely no disrespect whatsoever to this club, but I'm going to have to say Pontefract Collieries. That ground desperately needs a lick of paint and a bit of TLC. And that's not the best way to end a Q&A video, but that's the honest answer. That is it for me for this video. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back now, to be honest. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, though, won't we? But whenever it is, so stay safe, take care, and I will see you then.